In this next session, we're actually introducing a brand new KNIME feature, KNIME Edge. And I'm not the person to tell you all about it. One of our developers is. So I'd like to introduce Simon. Hi, Simon.
Hi, Sasha.
Can you tell us about KNIME Edge?
Sure, let's talk about KNIME Edge. So we've already learned that KNIME actually covers the full data science lifecycle. And KNIME Edge, however, focuses especially on productionizing data science. That means in particular the points API services and managed execution. So let me give you 2 example use cases just to help you understanding what kind of problems KNIME Edge tries to solve. So firstly, we have a manufacturing use case, which is about detecting hardware defects. And secondly, we have a more customer-facing use case in the example of fraud detection. Both use cases might actually sound familiar to you already. So for manufacturing, image analysis can be used to create models that detect hardware defects. And in a case of geographically distributed factories, being able to apply those models directly in the factory allows you to detect defects earlier, which leads then to substantial cost savings. On the fraud detection side, being able to process customer transactions in real time under heavy load is very important. But for the fraud detection use case, actually the next guest speaker will go a bit more into detail. And these are just 2 example use cases. There are many more. But to achieve this, we actually need to look at inferences on demand. So inferences are simply the application of a model. And in KNIME, this means having a workflow that accepts data, applies a model to that data, and then returns a response. And such a workflow is then deployed as a service, creating an API endpoint. And there are many common requirements that we've heard of when we talk to our users and customers. As firstly, they want to deploy such inference services to many concurrent end users. And they want to be able to handle spikes in demand and keeping a low and consistent latency, even on demand, on high spikes. Also, they want to have the ability to update the models or the workflows if needed on demand, and still be able to replicate these deployments across geographical regions. And lastly, it's very important that this all can be controlled from one central location. So given all these requirements and use cases, we started working on KNIME Edge. So KNIME Edge is a new extension to KNIME Server and is able to meet all the demands of model operations for KNIME for inference services such as high regress throughputs, low latency, and being scalable and flexible. And best of all, I'm happy to announce that KNIME Edge is available as of today. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I think that's enough for the technical background. And with that, back to you, Sasha.